Hello, this is Kimberly. You're in for Doga today with the lovely Belle Star, for as long as she'll stay, and then Mookie. So we're delighted to be here with you today, and with our practice, what we're going to be doing is a few poses that you can do on your own if you don't have a pup nearby or with your pup. And all you need to do this practice is maybe a yoga mat if you have one. If not, that's okay. You can grab anything that would be comfortable. You can even sit on a couch or a chair because most of these poses are going to be seated. Also, it can be nice if you have something like some lavender oil. I always like to give them a little dose of lavender oil beforehand. Here you go, Miss Belle. And Mookie. Yes, hi, sweetie. And so, to get started today, what we're going to do is a few deep breaths. All right, so and again, you don't need any yoga experience with this, just the intention to take a few moments to pause, just to push that pause button, slow down, and breathe. So we're going to start with a little bit of breathing. So if you'd like, you can bring one hand onto your dog, one hand to your heart center, or if you don't have a pup nearby, maybe one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Or if you have two pups nearby, maybe one hand on each. Right, sweetie? And beginning to take a few deep breaths. You can close your eyes or keep them open, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Gaze can be kind of down and soft. Bye, Miss Belle. And taking a few deep breaths in and out of the nose. So inhale deeply, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale. If you can match your breath with your dog's. And exhale. And then take a moment to create an intention for our practice. So our practice, again, this is your opportunity to spend a little bit of time connecting with your pup beyond your daily walks and feeding. And also for you too, to get the opportunity to just slow down and take a moment for you. So what is your intention for this practice today? And then once you've had an opportunity to set that, allowing your eyes to flutter open. Great, so again, welcome to Doga 14. Believe it or not, this is our 14th episode. And all these videos can be found on the Wolf Driver Facebook page and also at kimberlywilson.com/doga. All right, so to begin, go ahead and grab Belle Star's just across the room, chewing on a laptop. So that's what you just heard in the background, Belle Star. She's like, I don't want to do Doga, I want to eat laptops. All right, so coming to a comfortable seat. And then maybe see if you can get your pup to come on in. Again, Mookie's always like, I'd rather be napping. So I'm just going to pull him over, get him on his back a bit. And then I'm going to extend one leg out. So I'm extending my left leg out, keeping my right drawn in. And then I'm going to do a side bend over to the left. Again, staying connected with him. So I get a nice side bend, left side, and then this right arm can come up and over, or the right arm can stay right here. And again, what can be nice is to just simply do a little bit of petting, maybe behind the ears. He likes it under his arms, under his chin. And then so you're here getting a nice little opening, a nice little stretch, connecting to your breath and also connecting to your dog. And again, this would work the same if you had an infant. If you have a big dog, they may just take up a lot more space. If you have a cat that will stay still. And then coming right back up. And then I'm going to switch and do the other side. So I'm going to draw my left leg in. And then I'm going to extend my right leg out. All right, so from here, again, same thing, reaching this left arm up and over, the right arm along that right leg. And just so that I can stay connected, I'm going to keep this right hand on him. So again, nice lengthening along the left side of the body. Right foot is flexed. You can turn the gaze up. You can keep the gaze down on your pup if their eyes are open and they even notice. Nice, and then back up to the center. Great, so I'm going to bring that leg back in, and then I'm going to stack, you can't really see because he's in the way, but one heel's in front of the other. Now, if that's not comfortable for you, you can sit on a block, right? Or you could sit on a couch pillow or some sort of cushion or blanket that you might have nearby. Because sometimes what happens is when we come to these seated positions, that lower back rounds, and we want to keep it nice and long. So for here, what I'm going to do is walk my hands forward. All right, so breathing here and trying to get nice length through the spine and also rooting down through the sitting bones, so those bony parts of the bum. And some of you may be able to come down onto forearms. Now, if you have a huge dog, this is going to be a little more challenging. I'm breathing here, so again, I can feel his breath on my chest. And then allowing yourself to kind of soften in, because you'll notice too energetically when your energy's high, there's a lot of anxiety in the house or frustration, dogs will pick up on it. So it can be nice to see if you can also drop down a little bit and bring your pup along for that too, especially if you have an anxious one like this one. And then walk those hands back up. Job. All right, so hands on knees. We're going to do a little bit of spinal circles, so moving the torso into a circle. You can also add in the head and the neck. Again, staying connected. If it's your dog's nap time, maybe just catching their attention when they open their eyes. And then moving this in the other direction. And then coming back up to the center. So I'm going to do a little bit of stretching of him. All right, Mookie, are you ready? You ready for your yoga? So what can be nice? Yeah, yes, he loves to go on his back. So he's not as much of a fan of his arms being stretched, but he does seem to enjoy the legs. So you just do a nice little tug. Nice little tug of the other leg. Again, arms, sometimes he's into it, not so much today. Yeah, yep, he doesn't really love to have his arms stretched as much as his legs. And so what you do is you just kind of take your hand towards that kind of fleshier part, and then I pull down through the toes, and I like to play with the toes a little bit. Again, the reason for that is it can help your dog get a little more comfortable if you do nail trims or what have you, so that they're used to having their feet handled. Good job, Mookie. Good stretching. Let's see, maybe both arms. So if you do both at once, just a gentle stretch. Good job. All right, so from here, what we're going to do is a back bend. So I'm going to turn to the side. Actually, I'm going to turn to this side so that I can keep my head by his. And then I'm going to extend my legs out, straight out, just as his are. Come on, how's that? And then flex your feet, sitting up nice and tall. So again here, this is where a block or a meditation might come in, a meditation cushion may come in handy. If you want a little bit more lift, again, if you find that your lower back's kind of rounding there. Sitting up nice and tall. Bring those arms up along the torso and then cartwheel the arms behind you. So both arms behind. Press into the hands, lift through the chest. Flex your feet. Look at him. He's in Shavasana. This is his favorite pose. So Shavasana is typically how you end a yoga practice, and it's your relaxation. I like to think of it as the reward for practice. It's Mookie's favorite pose. He's very, very good at it. So lifting through the chest. If you'd like, you can release your head completely. I like to keep mine somewhat engaged. Breathing. And release. Let's come back up. So reach your arms to the sky and then exhale, hinge forward. So again, you can do a little touch of the feet, maybe a little massaging the pads of the feet. There's this really cute video that's going around right now that has a French bulldog, and he's laying like this, and he's got like a little towel wrapped around his head like he's at the spa, and then like a little towel from his waist down, and the woman is like massaging his paws with like massage lotion. And someone sent it to me. I was like, don't tell Mookie about that. He's going to be like, I want an upgrade with my Doga. So again, extending, and then so you two extending. Now, if you have a strap, something like maybe a bathrobe tie or a necktie, you can bring that around the balls of the feet to help lengthen and extend. Again, we want to keep this spine nice and long. And then rolling all the way back up. So we're going to try a hip opener now. So for the hip opener, I have to maneuver around him. So for the hip opener, we're going to come into our double pigeon pose. So for this one, again, I don't want to move him, so I'm going to scoot up some. So for this one, you're going to take one shin on top of the other. So it may be a little tricky to see, so I'll show you a modification, which is ankle on knee. So what we're doing is we're getting into this hip, this right hip. Now, if you want to work with the full version, and it's great too because I'm sitting up on this ledge slightly, so what it does is it almost acts like a block, gives me a little extra support. So foot is flexed, both feet flexed, because that helps to protect the knees, and then you fold forward. So again, this is where having your dog nearby, which they seem to love yoga mats as it is, as you roll it out, my dogs and cats come right over to it. So this just allows you to include them in your practice. So they're resting, maybe. This one sure is, loving his savasana, while I'm getting a hip opener. Right, so both feet flexed, ankle on knee, knee on ankle. If this is too much for you, also remember that you can place a block underneath that knee for support, or we've got this as a modification, which this one feels really, really nice. And you can bring hand around the knee for support, sitting upright. Again, checking in. And then coming right back up. So you can stay there 1 to 3 minutes. And now we'll switch and do the other side. So I'm going to drop my right shin down, flex that foot, and then place my left shin on top. All right, so modification right here, ankle on knee, sitting upright, or dropping both shins down. Again, if this knee has a tendency to pop up, you could place a block or some sort of padding underneath it. And then folding forward. So see if you can get those shins parallel. Again, keeping your connection here. Extending through those legs. Maybe a little scratch under the ears. And then too, what can be calming, when I've read it, you take from the top and then you go all the way down the spine and then the tail. So it could be this nice, just like calming kind of massage of sorts for your pup. And then coming right back up. So double pigeon. You've just done double pigeon. So now what we're going to do is come down onto our back. So I'm going to turn so that my head's near his. And then coming down onto our backs. And then if you'd like, we're going to do a back bend. So one more back bend. You've already done one, but we're going to take one more. So what can be nice here, you can, of course, you can use this meditation cushion if you want like a little pillow. And you can even just rest here, placing one hand on your belly, one hand on your pup. Or if you would like to work with a back bend, maybe even grabbing your block. So for here, releasing down, you're going to bring the block, place it underneath the lower back. And you may have a dog that wants to go under you here. Right, so this is an option. If this is too high, you could even place it at the lower version. Or you can do this yourself by keeping those hips lifted, no support underneath, interlace your hands. So you would clasp them and lift up. All right, so just so you know, you have a few options, and you can stay here for quite a few breaths if it feels nice. So remember, with yoga, we never want pain. We always want a little sensation, right? So there's something happening so that you're beyond your comfort zone, but not pain. So heels are underneath the knees, heart center's lifted, gaze can be straight up, gaze can be at your pup, eyes can be closed. So finding what works best for you. Let's take a few deep breaths here. Hey, Mook. Hi. And then we're going to remove the block. If you have any sort of prop underneath, release down, and then hug your knees in. So rocking from side to side, massaging the lower back. If you'd like, you can move the knees into a circle. So you can use both hands or keep one hand on your pup. So moving knees in a circle. Move them in the other direction. And then come back to the center. Mookie. And then we'll end with just a moment of relaxation, which he's been in the whole time. Now he's like, hey, what are we doing? It's relaxation time, Mookie. Yeah. He's always kind of whining. He has a little anxiety. Hi, sweet boy. So we're going to relax if that's possible. I'm taking a few deep breaths. So if you'd like, you can extend your legs all the way out. I like to get my knees bent sometimes because what that does, it helps protect the lower back. And open my knees, or open my feet wide and drop my knees in toward one another, which is nice. And then one hand on the belly and one hand on the pup. And a few deep breaths here. So yogic breathing in through the nose, fill the belly, the ribs, the chest, release chest, ribs, and belly. Deep, full breaths. And you can rest here 1, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Sometimes people will say, I just like to take a midday shavasana, which is a great idea. And then we're going to slowly lift up. You can roll to your right side or press your arms up. Come up to a seated position. And we'll end here. So hand on pup, hand on your heart center. And just take a moment to return to that intention that you set at the beginning of our practice. And thinking about what you would like to take away from this practice into your day. Maybe it's a sense of grounding. Maybe it's a sense of connection to your pup. Maybe it's a sense of paying attention to the breath. And take a big inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And let your eyes flutter open. So thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Mookie, who is now curling up on the couch with his blanket and his Himalayan bone. Mookie, you did great. Thank you. He's yawning. He's clearly exhausted. And I hope you have a phenomenal day. I'll see you next week back here, Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Again, you can find all these videos on the Woof Driver Facebook page and at kimberlywilson.com/Doga. Have a great week. Namaste.